Ahoy and welcome back to another video. It's the end of April and you know what that means. Time to talk about all the games I played this month. I've been doing this at the end of every month, trying to go over and make myself a documented list of all the games I played, so when it's game of the year time I can go back and have an easier time of what I liked throughout the year and not just have all that recency bias for what my last favorite game was. I like to go through all the games I played that didn't come out in this month, so this will be April, so I'll talk about all the pre-April games, and then I'll talk about all the April games, is what I normally do. But this month I'm going to mix up a little bit, just because I've been playing this little game on my computer, sounds old, playing this game on my computer that just came out a couple days ago called Rusty's Retirement, and it's a unique little game. It's not like a... It's a farming sim basically, and what it does is it goes on like the bottom of your screen. You just pin it to the bottom, and you do it while you're like working on other stuff. So while you're, checking your email or watching a YouTube video or doing whatever you want on your computer, on the bottom of your screen you can have this little farm that's playing in the background, and it doesn't need like your full attention. It like kind of works as it works on its own, and you just like kind of click things here or there to make them go. It's $6 on Steam, Rusty's Retirement. I think it's a lot of fun. I consider if you're on your computer a lot and you want something to do in the downtime, I consider checking it out. It's pretty enjoyable so far. I've played for probably 4 hours, or I had it on for like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, so I'm enjoying that one. But let's jump into the pre-April games. Starting off with a favorite of mine I've been playing the last few weeks. Animal Crossing for the GameCube. So, little history. My original Animal Crossing save that I had as a kid that I played for however many years. My GameCube memory card got corrupted about 6-7 years ago, and I lost all my saves. And I knew I wanted to eventually replay Animal Crossing, so I finally got around to that a couple weeks ago. Kind of prepping for a podcast I'm doing with some friends over on Craig's Game Rooms channel. Our topic this week was cozy retro games. So I want to get back into Animal Crossing and restart my village in earnest. So I've been playing, every couple days the last few weeks, working my village. And Animal Crossing GameCube is it's a very fun game. It's much simpler than New Horizons, a little more bare bones. It's a little clunkier too. There's things like the museum. You have to like mail in your fossils to get them assessed rather than just bringing them straight to the museum to Blathers. The inventory is clunky. You only have 15 slots. But it's got a whole lot of charm. The villagers, the way they talk to you is a little more unique. There's some of them that are mean to you. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy going back to that one. That's the one I probably played the most outside of... New Horizons I probably have the most hours just because I played so much of that when it came out, like everybody else. Wild World and New Leaf, I played those a ton, but Animal Crossing GameCube's got a special spot for me, so I was glad to go back and start playing through that one. Let's see, the next thing I've been playing a little bit this month, I finally got around to starting Helldivers 2. This game's a lot of fun. I still haven't made this my go-to game every night or anything, but I have played it a few nights with friends. Probably played a total 5-6 hours of it. I'm still trying to get into it. Still trying to understand things. I'm still having to ask questions, but it's so engaging and it's so funny. And the gunplay feels really good. I recently got this shotgun. I forget what it's called, but it's a shotgun. I've been using like a full auto rifle, and the shotgun a friend dropped for me, I was using on those bugs, and it was just splatting them and destroying them. It was very satisfying. I'm looking forward to playing more of that game. I only play it with friends. I've never like solo queued or anything like that. So I want to play it more. There's just a lot of people got other games to play, other things going on. It's the same thing for me. So it's a little less common to find time where everyone's ready to play Helldivers, but the time I have played, it's really fun. I'm looking forward to playing more. I've started messing around fighting the bots, because the first time I played, I only fought the bugs, and the bugs are little less intimidating, but the bots are pretty terrifying with their razor chainsaw arms chasing me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more Helldivers 2. I'll be playing that throughout the year most likely. Let's see. Next thing up, another got a lot of non-April games this month, by the way. Next thing up, I've been playing some more Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Talked about this in the past. It's one of my favorite Fire Emblems. Probably the one I've played the most. I'm doing a bit of a challenge run on my Pocket, trying to do something I haven't done before. I really like that game because it's a little on the easier side as far as Fire Emblem goes, so it allows you to be more... You can play each run with like a different strategy. You don't have to fall into the same characters or same strategy, because a lot of the characters can be viable because it's an easier game. So right now I'm trying to do a run using the 3 recruit units who are like not that good when you get them, but I'm trying to like use specifically those 3 characters and try to get through the game. And it's pretty fun. I'm probably about 60% through the game, 2/3 through the game at this point. I'm hoping next time I have one of these, I should be done with it, because I've been putting a little bit more time into it. One of those games I can go back to and play whenever, and it feels good. I don't have to think too hard. I can kind of turn my brain off. I know all the maps. I know the story. I don't have to think about it. So it's always real fun to go back and play that one. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is probably my top 25 favorite games ever made. Next one, another interesting one. This is another NSO drop. Wrecking Crew 98. So this was a Japanese-only game that got dropped for North America for the first time through NSO just a couple weeks ago. And it's basically, if you played Wrecking Crew on the NES, you're supposed to go around the level and like break all the walls, and that beats the level. You break the walls, break the doors down, break the ladders, and you go to the next level. Wrecking Crew 98 is more of like a competitive puzzle game. It's basically Tetris Attack as a platformer. So you are Mario with your little yellow hat that you see him wearing in like Mario Maker, and you run throughout the level and you're breaking blocks, different colored blocks, and you're shifting colored blocks, trying to make like lines of 3 or more, 3, 4, 5, and you're trying to line up these blocks to remove them from your side. When you make a line, they disappear, and if you make a line of 4 or more, so 3 or more makes it go away. If you make a line of 4 or more, it sends junk to the opponent's side, and each color block has like a different effect it'll send to the opponent. So basically, it's like a Tetris Attack. You're trying to fill up their side and make them lose before you lose. I did a full video on this one. I had a good time with it. It was a little tough for me at first, but overall I thought it was a fun game, and it's neat to see more niche games make it to NSO, and especially Japanese-only games finally making it over here. So no complaints there. Happy they added that one. One more NSO game I've been dabbling in. One of my childhood favorite games was Mario Golf 64. It's one of those games. I had the N64. I always liked as a kid, and I think it's like a week ago they added Mario Golf Game Boy to NSO, which is a game I have not played before. And I've been dabbling in that. I've done a couple tournaments. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty simple. So basically, if you haven't played Mario Golf Game Boy, when you're starting your shot, imagine like a top-down view of a golf course, and you kind of aim where you want the ball to go, and you like say, okay, I want to go that general direction, and then it shoots around like behind a behind player camera view. It has like a little fake 3D graphics from behind the player, but it has the good the meter where you press A and the bar goes, it like loads this way, and then you press A at the end and it loads back, and then you hit it again. So the 2 button presses to hit the ball how you want to hit it. The closer you are to the end of the meters, the better you hit it. The farther you hit it, and the more accurate you hit it. It's a really fun game, pretty simple, but it also has some surprisingly in-depth like physics. Different parts of the level will have little arrows showing that it's like a sloped area, and if you hit the ball there, it'll slope differently. If you're on the green putting, there'll be all sorts of arrows making it more difficult of a putt that you can't just hit straight. I'm having a really good time with it. I am using save states and rewinds. Don't tell anybody. But I'm not going to be missing any important parts, is all I'm saying. It's also a fun game because it's like a little bit some RPG elements. You make your own character. So you name your own character. You pick from like a list of little character sprites, and you do the tournaments with that character. And when you win, you get experience. You level up. You improve your character. You make them better at their drive, or you make them more accurate, like remove their draw or fade. And it's really fun. It's funny when you start the game. You're talking to the club owner, and there's just this big portrait of Mario behind him. And they're like, if you're good enough, you'll be able to meet Mario one day. Mario's great. He's so awesome. We love Mario. He's like their deity there in Mario Golf. So hopefully one day I can get through all the levels and I can meet Mario in Mario Golf Game Boy. Let's see, you got a couple more. I was gonna say, I've been trying to get into more into NSO, trying to find more time, and I have been finding more time as less new games come out. And they just added another random childhood favorite of mine, childhood game of mine, Iggy's Wrecking Balls. They added this to NSO. I haven't played this in like 2 decades, and I remember not liking it very much. So I want to stream it next opportunity I get. I think this will be the next game I stream. But I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but I think it's funny they added Iggy's Wrecking Balls to NSO. Alright, the last one I was going to talk about in depth was Unicorn Overlord. I talked about this a bit last month. It was my March game of the month, and I stand by that. This game is fantastic. I still have not made it like my go-to game I'm putting time into. It's basically my play for an hour in bed before I go to sleep kind of game. And it works really well for that because I don't think this is the kind of game I want to play for 3-4 hours in one sitting. I want to play this game for 1 hour chunks. The problem is it's taking me a long time to get through the game like that. I'm about 25 hours in. I'm starting to get more options and like diversifying my selection of characters. If you don't know what this game is, it's basically like it's kind of like a real-time strategy RPG where you send your characters from your base and you march them to the next base you have to capture, and if you collide with an enemy, you go into it's not a turn-based combat. It kind of is, but it's like a predetermined sim combat where different characters and different classes have different abilities and ways they interact with other classes, and you want to make up your party in a way that can take advantage of the enemy they're fighting, or maybe you want to just have an all-around good class that's like good against anybody. But I'm starting to kind of understand it a little bit. I'm starting to go into my abilities and make specific changes for specific enemy types, rather than just use the computer generated like default set of moves. The gear is a little weird. I don't either. I'm not understanding the equipment system, or there's just not a whole lot of variety with the equipment. I feel like I'm still using pretty bad equipment from early in the game, even though I'm 25 hours in. It might be a me thing. I haven't like looked into that too much, but I'm having a good time with it. I'm looking to finish that in the next month or so, because I do want to get into more NSO games. I don't want to fully jump into NSO until I get through Unicorn Overlord, because I enjoy it. It deserves me to finish it, and I want to give it that time it deserves. So having a good time with it. All right, last game. I think I'm finally done with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think I beat it at the time of the March recording for end of March games. But I think I've now done most of the post-game stuff I want to do for now. I'm going to go back. I'm going to finish hard mode. I'm going to get the Platinum Trophy. I'm going to do all the different things. But I'm at a point now where I've played it for 125 hours, 130 hours, whatever it was. And I'm ready to kind of put it down for a little bit and finish some other stuff, and I'll go back to it. Fantastic game, and I look forward to finding time to go back to it. Alright, so that was all the non-April games. Now we have 2 April games I want to talk about. So these are the games in the running for Game of the Month for me. I'll start off with the one that isn't the Game of the Month, and that is Final Fantasy XVI, because the second part of the DLC, The Rising Tide, came out, and I ran through that. I thought it was a good time. I did a video of that. I released that a couple days ago. So for some background, Final Fantasy XVI was my number 2 game of the year last year. Despite all of its flaws, I love that game. I thought the action combat is very engaging, very fun, very flashy. Some of the bigger problems of the game, like the side quests, are a little rote and a little like go talk to this NPC, go talk to that NPC, without a whole lot of reason. Some of the side quests are better, but a lot of them are pretty meh, not great. So when the DLC came out, I was hoping that, I was hoping for more Final Fantasy 16, because at its core, that's what I like. I want more Final Fantasy 16. But unfortunately, both the DLCs, the one from December, Echoes of the Fallen, and then this one that just came out, Rising Tide, they're pretty bare bones, and they don't add a whole lot of new to the game. I have a video on both DLCs separately, but I'm going to talk about the Rising Tide. This one felt like to me, it felt like it was clearly cut content that they turned into the DLC. This story felt like it could and should have been a part of the base game, because you're dealing with a whole new icon, Leviathan. It's the whole point of the DLC. It's in all the trailers. If you've played the game, you'll know that having another icon doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for how the game works, for how the story develops. It kind of feels like they just wrote it off, and then when they made the DLC, they kind of wrote back in a reason why. Oh, hey, don't worry about that Leviathan thing we didn't talk about a whole lot. The reason, like their reasoning for not including it wasn't the worst reason they could have gone with. I think it actually kind of makes sense if you squint a little bit. But me knowing that this is just a DLC side story, it feels a little. I rolled my eyes a little bit knowing that, this probably should have just been included in the base game. And to add on to that, like, this DLC I think it took me like 6 hours to get through the whole story and all the side quests. And, I don't need it to be super, super long, but I was a little surprised at how short it was. I was expecting something maybe, 10 hours or so. It is a pretty quick turnaround for this DLC to come out. It's been less than a year since 16 came out. I was just surprised at how short it was. What's there is good. The story's fun. There's some fun new bosses that, one of the bosses is probably one of my favorite bosses in the game. It really requires you to really think about how you dodge. You have to, because it's like a bullet hell. It has those bullet hell attacks where the ground is exploding around you, and you have to jump over stuff and dodge in the air, all while doing like regular combat and regular dodges against it. So I think the bosses were good. The story was fun and made sense. It felt like it needed to be a part of the story, so I liked it. It just felt weird that it was like sectioned off. The side quests are still kind of meh. A lot of them aren't super important. There's still there's one where you have to like just go get flowers for somebody, and you go talk to 2 NPCs in the village, and then you bring them back flowers. It's like, okay, did I really need to do that? Why did you need to make me do that? And then there's one that's a little more egregious. You have to get your chocobo on the island. You have to go talk to like 3 different NPCs in 3 different places just so you can get your chocobo to join you on the island. And like, it's like they didn't need to do that. There was a cute little story, I guess, that like got wrapped into that. But from the gameplay, from me holding the controller, I just walked and talked to NPCs for like 10 minutes. Didn't fight anybody, didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden I have a feature that I've had for dozens of hours in the base game brought to the DLC that could have just been there. I don't know. I've been a little negative on it. I still did enjoy it. I do love 16, and this was an excuse to play more 16, and the new area is beautiful. The new environments are really nice. A lot of water around. I'm a sucker for like nice flowing water. So it looked nice. It sounded great. There's some really good music from the... there's some music from one of the early launch trailers that like didn't make it into the game, and that music shows back up in this DLC. So like I really liked it. The the sequence you get to play as Ifrit is a lot of fun. It's challenging, big set pieces, big action, popcorn stuff that like Final Fantasy 16 is good at. Its big bombastic boss fights are probably one of the best parts of the game, and that was cool in this one too. So I think it's like Final Fantasy 16. It had its high highs that like made it worth my time. It made me enjoy it, and then it had its low lows of like, why am I talking? Why are we still doing these kinds of side quests? Why are there's no real RPG mechanics of the game. Like the equipment is very. You get some accessories that have stuff, but like the weapons and the armor are they're just number higher or number lower. There's no thinking to it. And that stuff doesn't improve. That is still what you're going to get here. So if you liked Final Fantasy 16 and you want to play more, I can recommend the DLC for you. But you're probably only going to get, between the two DLCs, you'll probably get about 10 hours of gameplay, and it's $25. So it's a little steep for what you get, but I personally had a good time with it. All right, so that brings us to our last game, and this will be the April game of the month. It's the only like full new release that I did get this month that isn't a DLC, and it is Stellar Blade. I've played about 5 hours this game, and like I was expecting to like it. I thought it'd be, it's a fun little action game. I played the demo. I'm really digging it. So it is an action game. So gameplay is king, and the combat is very intuitive. You've got your parries, your perfect parries, then you've got your your perfect dodges, and you've got a couple other dodge options that are like indicator based. You'll have like a color flash, and you have to dodge a certain way or press a certain button combination. And I think the combat system is extremely satisfying and very well done, very well timed. So action game. I'm swinging with my sword, hitting fools with my combos. And then when they attack, you press L1 to parry, and if you get a perfect parry, it takes off like a chunk of their like parry meter, and then you can get like a critical hit on them basically. But everything feels very good. It's really, like I said, I use the word intuitive because I feel like I know what attacks I need to parry, I know what attacks I need to dodge, I know what attacks I need to do like the special dodge into them, and it's all so snappy and it all works. When you start the game, like any game, you will probably sit there for the first couple encounters trying to figure out the timing. But once you figure out the timing, you just start rolling. You start destroying stuff. So combat's great. The explorability so far, like I've just made it into what I'm going to call like the first hub or town section. So I don't know what that's going to look like. But the linear area leading up to that the first 4 or 5 hours I've played, like the explorability is good in that you're not going to find so many beaten paths to find equipment and hidden stuff, but there's enough variety of like, okay, I haven't looked that way, I haven't looked this way, and pretty much anytime you go off the beaten path, you will find something, and whether it be equipment or materials or just like some lore, there's always it always rewards you for going out of your way and finding something. And you get like sometimes you'll find little passwords that open certain chests. Sometimes there's chests that have like you have to like press a code really quickly before the timer runs out. It's a lot of fun. The music is surprisingly good. When you're like not in combat, it has this. I don't know what I would call it. It's kind of just like it's almost like lo-fi to me. It's probably not what it is, but it's just kind of like background singing and noise. It's like really peaceful and like, but also kind of upbeat. And then when you get into combat, the music changes. But just really been surprised at how much I like this game so far, because the demo I enjoyed, but I didn't think I was really going to get into it that much. But it's a blast. I'm really clicking with it. I hope it continues at this pace and I can continue to enjoy it as much. Bosses have been fun, not overly difficult. Really just taking what you've learned from the enemies with your perfect parries, your perfect dodges, and just stretching that out into a longer encounter with some more in-depth attacks sometimes. But nothing, I haven't got to anything that's like, that I thought is like overly difficult or overly obnoxious. I'm not going to say it's an easy game, but I don't think it's a hard game either. I think you upgrade your character pretty quick. There's a skill tree. You can kind of spec into what you want, what attacks you've been using, how you want to like use your perfect parry, or if you want to do more than the perfect dodge first. So yeah, like the skill tree's been fun to unlock. You level up the weapon pretty consistently, especially if you're exploring a little bit. Yeah, I'm really digging it, and I'm hoping it can stick with me like it has been for the rest of the game, because what I've played has been very, very good. So that's all the games I played this month. Like I said, Stellar Blade is my April game of the month. As far as games that came out this month I haven't got around to yet, the only one that comes to mind is one that came out the same day as Stellar Blade, and it's Another Crab's Treasure. It's the little like hermit crab Souls-like game. That looks fun. I'm gonna play that. I've watched some reviews on it, and it looks like it's that one's gonna click for me as well. So at some point down the line, I'll get Another Crab's Treasure, and I'm sure I'll enjoy that one too. But that's all I've got to talk about today. Pretty good stack of games I played this month. So I'm glad I'm getting some a little more diversity, because March I was basically just playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I loved it. But I'm the kind of person who likes to play a lot of games at one time, and I'm kind of getting back into that this month. So I'm having a good time. But that's all I got. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.